What medical emergency did your parents refuse to believe was real? My mother made me eat peanut butter sandwiches every single day for lunch starting the week I turned 12. Not because I liked them, but because she'd decided my recent complaints about feeling sick after eating trail mix were psychological weakness that needed to be conquered through exposure. She'd read some article online about how modern parents were creating allergic children through overprotection and fear-mongering, and she became obsessed with proving that allergies were manufactured conditions existing only in the minds of weak-willed people who'd been coddled into hypochondria. She announced at dinner one Sunday that our family would no longer acknowledge or accommodate any claimed food sensitivities because doing so would only reinforce imaginary limitations. The trail mix incident had happened 3 weeks earlier at school. I'd eaten some from a bag my friend Olivia shared during lunch, and within 20 minutes my mouth felt strange and tingly, like I'd burned it on hot soup. My tongue started swelling slightly, and I felt nauseous enough to visit the school nurse, who gave me Benadryl and called my mother to pick me up early. Mom arrived irritated that her workday had been interrupted for what she deemed dramatic attention-seeking. She lectured me the entire drive home about the power of suggestion and how reading food labels created psychosomatic reactions in suggestible minds. When I tried explaining that the tingling and swelling were real physical sensations, she cut me off and said that was exactly how the mind manifested imaginary problems into physical symptoms. My father stayed silent during these lectures, which was his standard response to most family conflicts. He worked long hours as an accountant and seemed to view parenting as something that happened around him rather than something requiring his active participation. When Mom announced her new policy about food sensitivities, Dad just nodded and went back to reading his newspaper. My 8-year-old brother Felix looked between us with worried eyes but didn't say anything either. We'd all learned that disagreeing with Mom when she latched onto an idea only made things worse. The peanut butter sandwich protocol started the next Monday. Mom made my lunch every morning before work. Always the same thing. 2 thick slices of whole wheat bread with a generous layer of natural peanut butter, an apple, and a bottle of water. She watched me pack it into my lunch bag each morning, explaining that consistency was important for retraining my mind to understand that peanuts were harmless protein sources, not threats. I tried arguing that maybe I should just avoid peanuts if they made me feel sick, but she called that defeatist thinking. She said humans had eaten nuts for thousands of years, and only in the last generation had this allergy epidemic appeared, which proved it was psychological rather than biological. The first sandwich made my mouth tingle within 3 bites. I threw most of it away and bought chips from the vending machine instead, using money I'd saved from my allowance. That evening, Mom asked how lunch went, and I lied, saying it was fine. I didn't want another lecture about weakness and manufactured illnesses. She seemed pleased and said we'd continue the protocol until my mind learned that peanuts posed no threat. I nodded and excused myself to do homework, my stomach churning with anxiety about the next day's lunch. I managed to avoid eating the sandwiches for almost 2 weeks by throwing them away and buying alternative lunches. But Mom checked my account balance when she added my monthly allowance and noticed I'd been spending money at school. She asked what I was buying, and I stammered something about snacks and school supplies. She pulled up the cafeteria purchase history online and saw the pattern of chip and pretzel purchases during lunch periods. Her expression hardened, and she asked directly if I'd been eating the sandwiches she made. I hesitated too long before answering, and she knew. The confrontation happened that evening after dinner. Mom called a family meeting in the living room and announced that I'd been deceiving